Oh, we did it! We finally won a game, holy sh... Hell yeah, man. Let's go for a walk. Let's talk about this. I should probably start this video by addressing the double lift interview from yesterday, which I think might go on to eventually be the most watched video on my channel by a wide margin. Granted, I'm fairly small, so things are still growing at the moment, but to those that are new here, welcome to Thieves Fan Copes, Thieves Fan Content. It's basically a way for me to talk about how 100 Thieves did during the week outside of TikTok, where I do my daily reactions. And to those that are new here, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy my content. There's a lot of New York City and a lot of interesting things to discuss. I did want to comment, though, quickly on that interview. The comments, I mean, I kind of knew it was going to happen, but this is the first time that I've ever really seen the double lift effect in full, where you get a ton of his either supporters or haters, and it comes in all ways, shapes, and forms. The double lift haters are just weird to me. Like, I get people supporting their guy no matter what. I like that. I enjoy that. The haters going into the videos and literally just commenting some of the most vile stuff with weird people in weird profile pictures. It's odd. It's a level of celebrity and fandom that, quite frankly, obviously I don't see all that often. And it's not like Double Lift is even the worst performing player on the team, and he didn't blame anybody in particular or his team or dodge criticism at all. He was very fair during that entire interview. It was odd to see. But this video is now going to have a little bit more of an optimistic tone, simply because we actually won the Immortals game. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was legitimately worried about losing that one for a long period of time, that game. But before we get to game 3, let's go back to the beginning of the week, because there were 2 games before this that we need to talk about. Well, let's start with game 1, because it wasn't pretty versus Evil Geniuses. Now, JoJo, by all means, is going on to have an MVP level split. He's now the shot caller for Evil Geniuses. We'll touch more on that on Monday, but he's playing well. It was Quid's first game. It's important to keep the context of all of these games relevant. It was his first time on stage for the LCS, first time playing. Nerves are a factor, and clearly my guy got the best of early on, like quickly. He got shoved out of lane, had to come back, and on top of that, closer wasn't performing as well. You had this mid-jungle collapse that from level like 5 or 6, like the moment it started falling apart, just went away entirely. And there was no recovering anywhere else on the map. Like, we had decent spots in top lane and bot lane and support, but it just didn't ultimately work out at the end of the day, which, hey, sucks. Some days up there chilling with, I think, 1 kill, maybe 2. Like, he's having a great time, just enjoying it, and the rest of the map is just... I know a lot of people are going to go at the Ashe Braum pick, but I just want to remind some people who might be new fans of League of Legends, or might, for 100 Thieves fans specifically, that might not remember the TSM run in 2020. Ashe was actually a pick that Double Lift played a lot during that run whenever Broken Blade and Spica were carrying that roster to a title, and it worked out really well. Double Lift is honestly a very good weak side ADC player. Now, I've never seen Busio on Braum, and granted, by the time that we got to the point of the game where they could be interactive with the other lanes, it really didn't matter. The game was literally over by that point, so it was very hard to judge how Busio's Braum is, how that comp does whenever it literally fell apart before the game began. And I guess I'll address individual players after we talk about game 2. Game 2 versus Cloud9 was honestly not much better. Quid, granted, had a slight lead in mid lane and was doing fine a little bit. Double Lift and Busio, notably playing Zyra Khan, actually were doing a very good job in bot lane. Blue cleanse, blue flash from Zeri. They were getting advantages and were getting ahead. But unfortunately, it didn't matter, because weirdly, Closer wasn't able to do anything with those leads in lane. I don't know whether it was just because he was on vision and not willing to take a little bit more of a risky play to try and build an advantage, like even just try and outplay it. But Closer, man, I mean, granted, he bounced back in game 3, and we'll get there, but games 1 and 2 against like the tougher opponents, he's getting read like a book, and it's not working out well. Quid had that early lane advantage on Nico, gets ganked by Maokai and dies, and sets Nico so far behind to the point where she's irrelevant the entire game. But I don't understand why we didn't have ganks elsewhere, why there wasn't any sort of proactivity done on the map literally anywhere else during that stretch of which we had some lane advantages. Like, is it just not good pathing? Like, what's going on here? This is now 2 splits in a row that clearly Closer is not on his A game. And I don't know what we need to do to turn it around. I don't know what needs to happen to be able to get to that point, but Kane needs to work with him. Now, I don't know if Kane is here yet. I haven't received confirmation from anybody that he is. I haven't seen him on stage during these games. And it just kind of, it begs the question of what all really has changed from last split so far, if that coaching change hasn't come in and made a tangible difference on individual players. But then again, it's only been 2 weeks. So, you know, no reason to fully panic yet. But as of this game, we're a third of the way through the split. So, like, there's not much time here. So I don't know what's up with Kane, when he's going to get here, what the deal is with him, and hopefully we can get some confirmation from 100 Thieves and further information on that. But Closer really needs to step up. The fact that we're still limited to just the Wukong being a viable pick, he got gapped on Lee Sin last week, and just it feels like it's just this problem still that exists. And by all means, we know the guy can play. We've seen him play against some of the highest skill players in the game, including Blabber, including Spica. So what has happened over the last year for him to get to this point now? I don't know, and something has to change in order for us to make a run, because wow, yeah, sure, we came back against Immortals and we fought ourselves out of a hole later. Like, we weren't even close to contending with some of the top teams in the split. And FlyQuest is apparently just on that level, even though they're not performing on stage yet. Apparently there's some sort of issues preventing them from playing like that, but in scrims they're crushing it, so it's only a matter of time before they figure it out. We need to make sure we're getting more leads, having better proactivity, and as Doublelift alluded to in the interview yesterday, just cleaning up our mid to late game macro. But I will say, Game 3 kind of gave me some confidence towards that. For the Immortals game, we were about, I think, halfway through the game, and I was prepping what was going to be a really ugly video here, because at the time, once again, just falling behind early, getting pushed in lanes with no assistance and no help really to match some of the pressure that was being put on us at various different spots. Then it started to piece itself together, and notably, we had some really good fights with Quid, with Busio, and with Someday that helped push things together. Now, there was that one play in top lane, which I'll insert here. Everyone shifting up.
They don't have any words on it, but there's the call of the Forge God. Kenvi charmed immediately after getting knocked up, and Busio wants to find him with the knockup, but now they are turning and running. Kenvi stuns up Someday, and from downtown, the damage is good from Tactical for Closer to fall.
Oh no!
He gets rooted under the turret, but they're still in pursuit. Doublelift dishes damage on the retreat, but cannot defeat Immortals in the fight.
That we did overforce, but hey, you know what? We overforced it, but that didn't stop us ultimately from being able to still make plays later on, which was great. It was phenomenal. The fact that we can rebound from that, still be aggressive, still make plays, which those plays were what dug us out of the hole that we got ourselves into in the first place, that was what led us to a good victory. And notably, Quid had some really good signs of growth in the later portions of the game, and those RE team fights. He was dancing around and just hitting really good charms, hitting really good cues, and making sure that he was in the right spots at all times, which that to me is important. That is a sign of growth. That is a sign that yes, he had nerves the first 2 days, but you know what? He is coming around, and that is the important part. Now, Quid still has to level up significantly if we want to stand a chance. Him and Closer specifically just need to figure out their chemistry together, need to work on their synergy, and we'll be fine. But there was enough positives out of that one game, 2 fights towards the end there, that gave me hope that yeah, we might be able to pull this together, because Doublelift and Busio are performing really, really well together. And I don't think there's any denying that Busio is a star player for our team going forward. Yes, once again, it was on Rakan, but I've seen enough from other champions that he's played to know this can eventually happen. He's going to be good. And Doublelift is Doublelift. He's been Mr. Rock Solid, Mr. Consistency throughout all of this. Despite all the adversity, he's been performing incredibly well during his return. And someday, Something, my man, you keep doing you. I got no comments. I got nothing to say. Somebody's just a rock and always performs solid in every situation. His lows are not as low as others, but his highs also notably aren't as high. That just comes with the territory, and it kind of is what it is. Emily and I are going to see the new Jennifer Lawrence rom-com later tonight, so I'm just kind of grabbing a quick snack before I get back. 7-piece popper basket, regular fries, sassy barbecue sauce. Doesn't get any better than that. So to close out a little bit more of a relaxed TFC this week, kind of tempered expectations, knew what we were getting into. We were 1-2, kind of figured that was going to be the case. Let's look at the schedule for next week. And yeah, I would say overall, that's winnable. That's gettable. If we keep building and momentum keeps up, I'm saying 2-1, 3-0 week next week, and we're fine. We are building towards something positive because we've already played in the first round robin, Team Liquid, EG, and Cloud9. Now, granted, next week is the last week before we go into the second phase of the round robin and have to face all of them again. But hey, the only priority right now is just making sure that we get top 6 and get into playoffs and upper bracket. From there, we can continue to scale and go from there. I don't want to have to worry about losers bracket. I don't want to have to worry about just not having that extra lifeline, that ability to bounce back, especially as Quid in his first best of 5 series, to see how that goes. Like, I just want to buy ourselves time. So getting top 6 is the only priority and the only goal. I do not care where we finish above that. Also, quick note to my 100 Thieves fans that are going to LCS finals. Again, I will be there. Sylvix actually just confirmed on Twitter where we'll be at. I'm gonna be chilling with him, as well as possibly press and media. They might give us our own desk, but I don't know how that works for LCS finals. I've only ever done it for Worlds. So we'll see how that goes. But if you're gonna be going to finals, please, again, stop me, say hi. As you can tell, I'm fairly social and that I'm willing to walk around the city holding up a camera and just talking into it, so I've got no shame. So come up to me and say hi and let's chat. I'm gonna be filming vlogs and a bunch of other stuff at finals, so there will be an abundance of content that comes out of that. And yeah, speaking of content, 100 Thieves content this week. Been pretty damn good. I'll close the video on saying this. That Subway partnership might be the best thing that we've had as fans of 100 Thieves in quite some time, because it is enabling a ton of content. It is clear that 100 Thieves is not willing to put out all that much content unless there's a sponsor behind it. Like, they just want to make sure they're maximizing the amount of money that they can make and the sponsors that they can bring in. So that's fine. But here's the thing that you need to do as fans. We need to make sure it's worth it for them. Now, I've made it clear that I'm not gonna eat Subway whenever I'm here in New York City, because we've got bodegas, we got a bunch of other shit to eat instead. Yeah, I'm gonna eat bodegas here. Now, if 100 Thieves finishes top 2, I will break my rule and eat Subway for the first time in like 4 years. But I would encourage the other fans, these partnerships truly only work long term if the fans are also buying the product. So if you like Subway and you have a favorite sandwich or shit around you, go get one. The reason why people pull out of esports sponsorships a lot is because the fans and people that they're trying to advertise to don't buy the product. And Subway is one of those that I feel like is fairly universal across America. So if you're enjoying the 100 Thieves content that comes as a part of that, don't be afraid to support the sponsor. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad thing. Like, many people in the esports industry want to, or at least esports fans want to make it out to be like, oh, you know, why would you buy this just because a team told you to? It's like, well, you know, they're supporting our team. They're making content for fans possible by funding it. So yeah, I do want to reward them as well, because then that shows that we as consumers support what they're doing. It's the whole point of a sponsorship. Anyways, side rant done. That is TFC wrapped up for the week. Like I said, a little bit more informal, back to the walking around New York City and talking. I hope you guys like this style of video. If you like me sitting still and talking a little bit more, let me know down in the comments. I can limit some of the movement here. I know Casey Neistat prefers that style, but I'm curious to know what you all think. Do you like just going around New York City? Let me know. And until next time, and until next week, or well, at least the next video for me, adios.